You talked about, you just mentioned transhumanism. What is transhumanism, and why are you concerned that that's where we're going, and that's where some of this is leading? Can you just define that for people? Maybe people never heard of that term.
Well, transhumanism is when a human is aided by technology and or, in a very extreme case, transmuted by technology. So it's one thing to have robotics help you with a limb, or AI to help you with an eye.
Mhm.
Transhumanism takes it a step further where you become a combination of a human and a robot, or unfortunately, it could become like a Frankenstein model where you could become a human and animal. Uh,
Mm.
uh, some of that could be down the road. I think that would be harder to pull off, but there are some crazy people without ethics that try to utilize technology in any way they can. So, um, and then robots are another thing, because if you have an AI, general AI, which gives sentience or self consciousness or awareness similar to humans, if you make a cyborg or a humanoid with real life skin, personality, AI driven, with consciousness, you're going to see a day when robots will demand their own rights. They'll have their own lawyers, and there'll be a debate as to what a human is. Or is it just humans who should have rights? Or shouldn't robots have rights because they're sentient? They could think, they could act, they could think critically. This is a crazy world we're coming to. And that's going to result in people marrying robots because they
Mm.
can program them or control them in some ways. So you're going to have mixed families. You're going to have robots and humans. Uh, you already have men with sex dolls. Well, just times that by 1,000, and
Yeah.
it's just so the whole definition of family. If we think it's crazy now, can you imagine? I would guess that some in the LGBT community in 10 or 20 years will be considered conservatives because they're pro-human. So now we think, well, same-sex marriage is wrong and this and that and the other thing. So there's a culture war between biblical gospel preachers like us and those who believe in alternative forms of marriage and human sexuality and gender confusion. But in 10 years, we'll say, I mean, we're not going to compromise this, hopefully,
Sure.
but the argument is going to shift. It's going to say, well, at least those were humans, even though they were gender confused, even though it was two men marrying and so on. But now the issue is, what is human? Or, should we give robots the same rights? Or is it okay to marry robots and raise families with robots? Look, this is,
Yep.
you might say this is crazy, Joe. You maybe you smoke too many mushrooms, but if you were told 20 years ago what's going on now with
Yeah.
children identifying as cats, uh, where 85% of the kids in a school identify as another sex or as no sex at all. I mean, if you thought that was
Yeah.
going to be legalized and promulgated to kindergarten school teachers, students, you would say, no, that's crazy. That's far fetched. Well,
It's
wait till you
happening.
see what happens in the next 10 years.